Okay, hi and assalamualaikum and a very good evening. Selamat hari Isnin buat anda semua and welcome to my weekly live session. This week is going to be on Monday and we are live on Facebook, YouTube dan Twitter. Ya, Twitter untuk kali yang ketiga saya rasa. And as always, our sesi Q&A santai pada hari ini adalah in conjunction with our campaign bersama dengan KBS ataupun Kementerian Belia Sukan Negara, and as always selari dengan Hari Sukan Negara yang walaupun as I always say dah pun berlalu, for me Hari Sukan Negara is really 365 hari setahun, supaya ia boleh menjadi budaya amalan gaya hidup. So it's not really important that the Hari Sukan Negara is about 1 or 2 weeks behind us. Ialah tanggungjawab diri masing-masing untuk sentiasa uphold active lifestyle dalam kawalan berat badan, kecergasan dan sebagainya. And if you are just joining us right now, sama ada on Facebook, YouTube or Twitter, especially if you are on Facebook or YouTube, let me know sekiranya you can hear me loud and clear, supaya again I'm not just membebeling seorang diri tanpa adanya suara yang boleh didengari at your line. And we will probably cuba menjayakan a 60-minute Q&A santai session. So if you have sebarang pertanyaan tentang pemakanan, kesihatan, mental health, kecergasan, kawalan berat badan, pemakanan, plato, produk kurus yang tak kurus-kurus kau mungkin as well, you are more than welcome untuk bertanya sebarang pertanyaan. And let me do a bit of housekeeping as well. So Norlin from Facebook, you can hear me loud and clear. Rosita Abdul Talib as well, loud and clear di Cyberjaya juga. Thank you so much. So everything seems to be okay. So we can get started very, very soon. Biasanya it will take a few minutes untuk soalan-soalan itu trickle in slowly but surely. And once the things get pretty hectic, I will try and answer as many questions as possible. You are welcome untuk bertanya sebarang pertanyaan. Tak semestinya tentang kurus or kawalan berat badan semata-mata. You're more than welcome to post any questions. Maybe berkenaan dengan sukan di Malaysia or sukan di sekolah, or keadaan isu semasa. These are weekly sessions. Q&A santai is our tema pada minggu ini. So always fun and always interesting to talk about common issues yang hangat mungkin di Malaysia or hangat di seluruh dunia. So hi and apa khabar semua? Welcome again to our live session. And for me, the news that I've been following lately on my side is really the whole Facebook internal papers and the whistleblower story dan sebagainya. And maybe it's a bit ironic that we're doing this on Facebook as well, and using the platform. I personally have been using Facebook for, I don't know, I think as long as I can remember, as the beginning of the whole Facebook era. And masa tu we were migrating from MySpace. MySpace, Friendster used to be a thing. And then when Facebook came along, everybody sort of jumped over to Facebook. But I remember back in those days, the engagement was a lot more meaningful dari segi kawan-kawan dan sebagainya, to keep in touch dengan mereka yang mungkin dah lost touch over the years. But over the years, especially dalam 2, 3, 4 tahun yang lalu, I find that social media is becoming perhaps not always as positive as it used to be in the beginning. And it is something yang sentiasa dibincangkan dalam pelbagai webinar discussions, because mental health, especially during this pandemic, COVID-19 is always a very highlighted discussion because every one of us berdepan dengan cabaran anxiety, stresses kehidupan yang mungkin tak pernah dilalui disebabkan pandemik yang sangat luar biasa, and everyone is constantly looking at social media, and of course dia ada impact yang positif, ada impact yang negatif, and it's not always easy untuk menyimbangkan kedua-duanya, especially dalam dunia kehidupan yang sangat-sangat bergelora. Alright, so now again, if you just joined us on for our Q&A Santai session for today, welcome. Yeah, please feel free to post sebarang pertanyaan to me on anything that you would like to ask about. And again, this is selari dengan our KBS Fit and Active punya campaign yang berjalan sepanjang October. So we have about 6 or 7 days left before October is over already. Yeah, I cannot believe it's already almost the end of the year. Sudah almost nearing 2022. And if you are not aware of what KBS Fit and Active is, ia adalah usaha bersama dengan saya dan Kementerian Belia Sukan Negara untuk membawa pelbagai program-program senaman or talks, discussion bersama pelbagai jurulatih tanah air kepada warga Malaysia secara virtual, ya, juga tercetusnya disebabkan daripada pandemik COVID-19. And we started the first season, I think, lepas Ramadan tahun lepas, just as we just got into the pandemic and the first lockdown. Then we had the second season and third season baru-baru ini, and this is our fourth cycle sudah. And I do hope that over the time it has gotten a lot of manfaat buat anda semua untuk aktif di rumah sepanjang pandemik. And I know senaman di rumah ni bunyi dia sedar, senaman di rumah, ikutlah live workout dan sebagainya. But biasanya orang dia tengok je orang buat senaman live, dia tak workout pun. And it's not because dia tak nak bersenam, it's usually because keadaan rumah is not always memberangsangkan jiwa. It's not a very conducive environment. And even for me personally, walaupun sebagai instructor or cikgu fitness, I find rumah also not really that great a place untuk lakukan senaman pada setiap masa. So even for me personally, it's a struggle. I lebih suka kalau di luar untuk buat riadah ke di gym dan sebagainya. So what I do, I buat live. Just like today, I'm doing a live chat. Because tanpa buat live, I pun memang takkan workout. But because it's live, untuk orang ramai, people are watching, it creates a sense of tekanan buat diri saya. And it makes me then do the workout pun bersungguh-sungguh juga. Kalau tak ada orang tengok, memang hangat-hangat tak ayam kau. And tak ke mana because of gangguan di rumah yang memang pelbagai. So if you are in that situation, jangan rasa tertekan. It happens to every one of us, and janganlah just percaya social media ramai orang buat senaman and all they do, but it's not always gambaran yang sebenar. Okay. All right, so we have some questions already. So let me look at the first question that we have here from Feroz. Coach, kenapa bila tengah bersenam weightlifting saya menguap? Dah 2 kali in between. Ya, nak menguap semasa bersenam, it's not because kau malas. It's not because you mengantuk ke apa. It's usually a cooling mechanism of the body to make you, pull in some cooler air untuk mengawal suhu otak terutamanya. So it is a tindak balas badan to menyejukkan badan. And even though you bayangkan padahal udara panas, tapi panasnya udara sekalipun, it's still cooler than suhu badan. And when you sedut masuk funnel yang kecil, it tends to cool down lagi the air. And again, it is a cooling mechanism badan, and it's not tanda isyarat engkau malas ke apa, so don't worry. Okay, next question that we have here is from Iza Roslan. Coach, betul ke kalau makan waktu malam susah nak kurus, sedang waktu siang hanya bersarapan sahaja? Saya keliru, saya makan bila lapar je. Selalu lapar time pagi dan malam, dan portion makanan saya sederhana je. Now, very, very good question, Izzat, and what you're doing generally is okay. Makan bila lapar, and there is no real pantang larang of tak boleh makan waktu malam dan sebagainya, walaupun you do hear it dalam media, surat khabar, majalah dari masa ke semasa. And the problem waktu malam is only if you merancang untuk makan pagi, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, but you tak merancang untuk makan katakanlah lewat malam, then usually kuota makanan tu dah habis masa dinner, and then makanan yang siapa yang tak dirancang itu menjadi berlebihan yang tak diharapkan. But what I always syorkan, and what you are doing already yang bagus, memang your makan lewat malam is part of the plan. So it is part of perancangan dan termasuk dalam kawalan katakanlah kalori pengambilan seharian. So silalah teruskan. And the real problem only is when it is not planned. Where ramai orang ingat ke last meal pukul 8, dia rancang meal plan dia ngam-ngam, but then every day makan juga pukul 10.30, pukul 11, and then it becomes an issue because it always becomes makanan yang tak dirancang yang menjadi berlebihan. So, make it part of the plan. Kalau you memang gemar makan waktu lewat malam, and I personally memang suka juga makan waktu lewat malam. And if you ask me, Coach, what time do you eat lewat malam? It's tak tentu because life is not that simple. Can be 10.30, 11, 11.30. Kadang bangun 2 pagi pun lapar kau, makan juga. It is okay. Don't overcomplicate uncomplicated things. But if you're listening and you memang mahir boleh tak makan lewat malam and it makes you happy, then suka hati kau as well. Yeah, all right. All the best, Izzat, and sila teruskan. Ya, waalaikumsalam semua. Let's see, Azwat. Kenapa kadang selepas senaman, saya macam hypo, macam lapar sangat walau dah makan beberapa jam sebelum. Now, when you bersenam, Azwat, you burn off energy and your body wants you to mengganti. So walaupun you dah makan beberapa jam sebelum bersenam, perhaps the body dah pun menggunakannya dalam waktu beberapa jam sebelum bersenam, and then tambahan pula semasa bersenam. So I always syorkan, and amalan diri saya sendiri juga, I always menjadikan air waktu senaman, air yang of course berair, and then air yang berglukos. So when I do my live home workout sekalipun, I always share dengan para penonton, this is my air semasa bersenam, and usually it's just Ribena ke apa, not sponsored, because it is glucose untuk sentiasa mengganti sikit tenaga yang digunakan semasa bersenam supaya you tak berdepan dengan hypoglycemic ke apa, di mana your paras gula darah sangat rendah and your body will start to shut down. So cuba maybe introduce a little bit of glucose throughout the workout. Tak perlu yang pekat kau, yang agak sederhana supaya memastikan your bekalan tenaga tak terputus. And nombor 2, your paras gula darah does not menujam terlalu ke dalam lautan yang dalam. Selamat mencuba. Okay. Question here from Adik Lin. Coach, saya sedang dalam diet untuk turunkan berat badan. Kenapa berjogging buatkan badan saya lebih penat daripada senaman jump rope? Now, it's a very good question and it depends on individu. Now, contohnya, I give you sports as an example. If I main bola versus main tennis, kemungkinan besar rentak permainan bola makes me more penat cepat berbanding tenis. Kalau especially I memang biasa main tenis dan tiba-tiba main sukan yang rentak dia agak berbeza. Could be the same thing with jumping rope. Jogging ni depends on how you jog. Can be agak santai, can be very explosive. If you jogging dengan teknik larian yang kurang cekap, banyak bazir tenaga dengan lompatan yang striding yang terlalu besar, you leap through the air, impact tinggi dan sebagainya. So your body will waste energy yang banyak. Berbeza dengan skipping rope yang perhaps your techniques lompatan is more efficient. So perhaps tepuk dada meneliti teknik lompatan, teknik larian untuk larian yang lebih ekonomik supaya you tak membazir tenaga semasa berlari and can run more efficiently supaya tak cepat penat. Ya, so selamat mencuba kepada adik Lin kita. Alright, next question we have here. From Idrina Sohaimi. Hi coach, hi. Cardio or weightlifting yang mana lebih bagus untuk kurangkan berat? I'm assuming you mean kurangkan berat badan. The best senaman untuk kurangkan berat badan, in my opinion, is kepelbagaian. So that includes cardio and weight training and pelbagai bentuk senaman yang menggabungkan kedua-duanya, like functional training dan sebagainya, sukan as well. So cardiovascular training of course burns kalori yang banyak, but weight training melibatkan pembentukan otot. The more otot yang you ada, walaupun ladies cannot membina otot yang besar gagah perkasa kau, the more muscles you have, metabolisme badan yang semula jadi akan meningkat, which means you will burn more calories secara semula jadi. Now bayangkan dua kereta, bayangkan si kancil dengan se-Ferrari, dua-dua buka enjinnya, dua-dua tidak bergerak. Which car will burn more fuel walaupun tak bergerak? Of course, si Ferrari, because the Ferrari has more horsepower. And the more horsepower otot yang you ada, your body will need to burn more calories untuk kekalkan, menggerakkan, maintain otot yang lebih besar. So I would highly encourage Adrina to do both cardio and weight training. Nisbah yang macam mana? Suka hati kau, see what you enjoy. But if katakan you tak suka buat weight training juga, nak buat cardio sahaja pun boleh. Tak suka cardio, nak buat weight training sahaja pun boleh. That is not a one way or the highway punya scenario. It's really all about what makes you happy and what works best for you. Yeah, beres. All right, next we go. If you just join us, welcome to our Q&A Santai. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. If you have not done so yet, please share the live sesi dengan kawan-kawan, perhaps so that mereka can join bersama and learn as well. And feel free to ask any question that you would like. There is nothing off limits. We will discuss things secara intellectual. Okay, let me see here. Hamidi, Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. Macam mana nak elak GERD anxiety? Adakala mengganggu aktiviti seharian? And it's a very, very good question. And I personally have experienced GERD anxiety as well. GERD basically is your gastroesophagus reflux disease, di mana the opening of the esophagus tak tutup rapat and membenarkan asid perut untuk naik, so you will have seolah-olah macam stocking is stuck dekat your tekak and you have a sour taste in your mouth, and it can be induced by anxiety, stress. And if you have experienced this during the pandemic, you are not alone, and the only way to get rid of it is to no trigger foods, makanan yang trigger your GERD. In my case, it was a lot of spices, tomato, dairy, so certain, even nuts, kacang. So I had to eliminate certain things while going through the pandemic, where I put agak, berdepan dengan restlessness and anxiety because tak tahu berapa lama dan sebagainya. We are not manusia yang kebal. And at the same time, what I did as well, I did a lot of exercises around my neck. Yeah. So basically, you open your mouth and you really try and loosen up your tekak, because sebahagian besarnya it's not a structural failure. It's more of a biological response due to the anxiety. So hopefully the anxiety ada penyelesaian dari segi lockdown ke whatever you are currently facing in your life. B, understand the triggers that are causing the GERD reaction. Number 3, just try and mobilize your throat. 4, if perlu, get rujukan doctor as well. And if you're not puas dengan nasihat doktor yang pertama, which can happen, which in my case was the case, dapatkanlah rujukan doktor yang kedua. Now, if you ask me what was I not really happy about dengan the diagnosis doktor yang pertama, he immediately wanted to get me on a medication, antidepressant, some kind of treatment plan to deal dengan the anxiety, but I was not keen to immediately jump on that bandwagon. Padahal I knew my anxiety was due to the lockdown dan sebagainya, tak dapat nak keluar, bersenam dan sebagainya, and it was not going to be solved, I felt, by the virtue of being on a antidepressant or ubat. So I declined and dapatkan rujukan doktor yang kedua, and trial and error. So the same thing for you. Always dapatkan nasihat yang pelbagai. Even today here, don't follow anything anyone says, but petik sini, petik sana, and make their own conclusions in your life. And I hope that you, Hamidi, dapat mengatasi your GERD anxiety in due time. Okay. Harlina, why if I eat rice in the morning, my body weight naik? Hard to say. It's not always just nasi that's the problem. It depends on the amount of rice that you consume and what kind of diet or pola pemakanan that you have in general. Now, nasi is a carbohydrate, and carbohydrates, once you makan, akan store more air. Yeah, that's why when you go on a keto or Atkins diet yang melarang pengambilan karbohidrat, you cepat kurang berat badan because suddenly there's no carbohydrate. Your body will start to flush air because your body cannot menghadamkan karbohidrat tanpa air. So once you makan nasi pagi ke apa, your body will then also perlukan air yang a bit berlebihan to digest these carbohydrates to become glucose and then glycogen. So that could be part of the penaikan berat badan, typically because of water. So even if you timbang berat pagi, siang dan malam, boleh turun naik 1-2 kilo, it's always because of water, not because of lemak, which cannot naik dengan begitu mudah sahaja. Okay. Daripada Bijagoy si Batu, adakah suplemen protein perlu untuk mengurangkan sakit badan selepas bersenam? Saya selalu sakit dekat joints dan hips selepas intensive training. Very good question. Now, you have to membezakan sakit otot dengan sakit sendi. Sakit otot, sengal, sore, DOMS, agak diharapkan. But joint pain, like you mentioned, on your knee and on your hips, is not something yang diharapkan, and it's something that you should be aware about, and perhaps even senaman that you do yang melibatkan the joints in your case can perhaps do more damage than good. Now, The protein is meant to, or the amino acids which proteins are made from, is to help you to repair your muscle fibers dan sebagainya post senaman. Tak semestinya suplemen protein, but protein secara umumnya ayam, ikan, telur dan lain-lain. Suplemen pun boleh kalau kurang mahir mencari protein, but you have to membezakan sakit sendi, sakit otot. Sakit sendi is something you never desire. And when you have any kind of acute joint pain, my advice is stop that particular senaman terlebih dahulu. Boleh buat senaman yang tidak melibatkan that sendi, and then look at the, recovery or prognosis on what actually is wrong dengan struktur sendi tersebut, supaya you can then mencari kaedah untuk membaikinya sekiranya diperlukan rehat dan lain-lain. Joint pain is not a no pain, no gain strategy. You have to be smart supaya you allow the joint yang mungkin ada masalah struktur ligament or tendon untuk membaiki diri. Yeah, I hope this helps you and all the best. Okay. Okay, Abdul Zulkarnain. Hi Coach, hi. Is it possible untuk kami yang bekas pesakit gemuk, yang dah kurus, yang banyak flabby area, susah nak bina otot tambahan, hanya bersenam angkat berat di rumah tanpa pergi ke gym? Now, if I understand your question correctly, number one, syabas dan tahniah kepada Abdul Zulkarnain kerana berjaya mengurangkan berat badan, which kadang-kala mengakibatkan adanya kulit yang berlebihan, especially kalau weight loss yang agak drastic and besar, melibatkan 4, 5, 60 kilo berat badan, as we have many in our program over the years. And yes, some of them berdepan dengan masalah kulit yang berlebihan. Tidak semua. It's same thing or lebih kurang dengan wanita yang lepas bersalin. Tak semua berdepan dengan masalah kulit yang berlebihan. Now, can you membina otot untuk mengisi ruang kosong di antara kulit itu? Yes, but it depends on how much kulit berlebihan we are talking about. Because if there's so much space, kulit tu memang banyak yang berlebihan, otot semata-mata cannot fill out the entire area, but it will make the penampilan lebih baik berbanding dengan agak kurus kering where the kulit is more so pronounced. And can you angkat berat, can you membina otot, angkat berat di rumah tanpa pergi ke gym? Boleh, just perlukan peralatan dumbbell sedikit, teknik ilmu pengetahuan untuk menjayakan the workout, and also boleh gunakan beban badan pada permulaan untuk merangsangkan tumbesaran otot. I hope this helps you, Zulkarnain, and again, tahniah diucapkan kepada anda sekiranya anda yang berjaya mengurangkan berat badan daripada mungkin berat yang berlebihan kepada normal. Alright, question here from Nazrin. Coach, hi. Macam mana nak mengatasi craving? Craving teruk ni. Even snacking pun tapi macam tak cukup-cukup. I understand. And Nazrin, it happens to everyone. And Nazrin perlu membezakan makanan yang mengenyangkan dengan makanan yang menggembirakan. If Nazrin melayan nafsu makan yang bergelora dan membakar jiwa anda dengan makanan yang menggembirakan but tidak mengenyangkan, memang tak kenyang-kenyang kau, and you can makan like there is no tomorrow. But if you layan your craving dengan makanan yang mengenyangkan, dan lebih mudah untuk mengawal jumlah kuantiti pengambilan. Now, how to membezakan kedua-duanya? It's quite simple. Yang menggembirakan biasanya is gula-gula ringkas, carbohydrates yang simple sugar. Keripik, your popcorn, your biscuit, even cereal yang gula-gula ringkas, or buah-buahan setengah pun terbikai, you can blast it like there's no tomorrow. But if you melayan your craving dengan makanan yang berfiber and berprotein, protein and fiber mengenyangkan, dia membantu untuk mengawal jumlah pengambilan. So if you katakanlah sekarang ataupun lepas ni pukul 9:30, 10 agak lapar, and remember malam-malam is more you gatal, not you lapar sebenar. Jangan layan nafsu lapar gatal dengan makanan yang menggembirakan, simple sugar. Layan dulu dengan makanan yang berfiber, carbohydrate complex, protein. And if you nak, then juga nak makan biskut satu after you makan yang mengenyangkan dulu. Jangan layan or start dengan yang menggembirakan. Macam popcorn di wayang belum start, popcorn dah habis. Gembira, kenyang tidak. Why? Popcorn simple sugar, tak kenyang-kenyang. Kau boleh makan, yes, but jangan mengharapkan dia tu mengenyangkan anda. Boleh? All the best to you. All right, let me see what else we have here from Aina. Hi, Coach. Hi. My lecturer told her student, breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a peasant or like the poor, but peasant lah, which is okay. Yeah, again, don't follow anything anyone says, but the logic behind it is that you makan banyak waktu pagi, and then you have the whole day to sort of burn it off, and as the day gets closer to kurang activity, nak tidur malam dan sebagainya, then you makan kurang. But for me, yang paling penting is, doesn't really matter whether you makan heavy, medium or small medium, heavy. Yang paling penting is jumlah pengambilan seharian yang sepatutnya or perlu selari dengan keperluan seharian. Yeah, but it's okay, the advice. It's always easy to give advice, and social media especially, you will get advice kiri, kanan, depan, belakang, pagi, siang, dan malam. But I always say, and this is my advice, don't follow anything anyone says, not because it's not true, because kadang-kadang it's oversimplified and not really relevant for everyone's scenario. But you can always, dengar and baca and listen. At the end of the day, you have to mempertimbangkannya buat diri sendiri and make your own decisions. Because if you follow the advice blindly, don't really learn anything. And if it does not work for you, at the end of the day, you still have to mempertimbangkan and make adjustments along the way. So instead of following mana-mana diet, Atkins, keto, IF, suku-suku separuh, I would rather you petik ilmu A, B, C, D, and then you buat diet Aina, diet Kevin, diet Akila, diet Nazrin. Make it your own, because we are all unique, and we have unique desires, unique cravings, unique locations, and make it your own diet supaya dia sesuai dengan hati jiwa and boleh dikekalkan sampai bila-bila untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. Hi Nora, how are you? No question, right? Yeah, you're welcome everybody. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Coach, biasanya untuk beginner, ada suggestion tak untuk build masa? Coach, ada formula tak or routine yang sesuai? Now, I started weight training after SPM. I went to the US and freshman year, umur 18 tahun masa tu, memang keding kau, and there was a nice gym, and all the Americans usually start weight training daripada bangku high school lagi. So when they enter university, a lot of them are already physically very strong and they have a lot of good foundation. So I made a friend with an American guy in our dorm who knew a lot about weight training. So I learned from him about basics of weight training, timing, breathing, pilihan beban yang sesuai, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, the easiest thing I can tell you is you have to always remember the objective of weight training is to pecahkan your fiber otot. And I know it sounds macam pecahkan otot. What you want to do is you want to panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan. All the senaman rintangan is to panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan, panjangkan, pendekkan fiber otot dengan harapannya dia putus sikit. Microscopic koyakan. And this microscopic koyakan is what you will feel tomorrow as sore otot kau. And this soreness means that the muscle has ada koyakan yang microscopic along the fiber. And once dia koyak, this muscle will tell the body, hey body, I am not strong enough to menampung senaman semalam. Silalah membesarkan aku. And that's when the muscle akan mencari amino acid, protein dan sebagainya untuk menampal this otot untuk membesarkannya. And this is how the muscle starts to membesar demi masa minggu ke minggu, bulan ke bulan dan sebagainya. And you have to lama-kelamaan always memberikan dia beban yang lebih besar because beban yang pada permulaannya dah tak cukup untuk memberikan impact catalyst pemangkin yang sama. So now if you buat senaman dengan berkualiti, esoknya sakit kau, but you tak makan makanan yang secukupnya, then your body nak membesar but has no bahan binaan untuk membesar, tak boleh membesar. So but then if you buy yang weight gainer, muscle protein, muscle milk dan sebagainya, but tak ada pemangkin pembesaran because tak bersenam, just makan je pun tak boleh. A lot of people yang nak menambah berat badan, dia fikir aku beli weight gainer dah cukup. But without the perangsang senaman untuk memecahkan this fiber otot, your body has no reason to grow. So long story short, you kena berikan sebab kepada otot untuk membesar hasil daripada senaman rintangan, body weight or weight training dan lain-lain. And then B, makan makanan yang agak berlebihan supaya your body ada surplus untuk menggunakan yang extra untuk menampal the otot dengan in this case maybe protein dan sebagainya. But janganlah just eat protein. It is basically pemakanan yang agak seimbang secara menyeluruh. And take your time and jangan gelojoh. Gelojoh means, and this will happen from time to time, if you are a beginner, there will be people that may recommend you to take certain things. Some are legal, some are illegal. Untuk mempercepatkan this process, don't follow anything anyone says, because at the end of the day, if you tidak memahami what they are trying to give you, then you perhaps akan berdepan dengan masalah yang tidak diharapkan. So jangan tertekan. Take your time untuk enjoy the journey, untuk mensadarkan diri. It is not jangka masa yang pendek. It will take berbulan-bulan, bertahun-tahun, and hopefully for the rest of your life. All the best to you. Okay. Yeah, you are welcome. Waalaikumsalam. Okay. Norita Bujang, coach saya dah buat weightlifting, dah aerobik, dah buat brisk walking, kenapa berat badan tidak turun? Now, Norita, number one, don't give up. You cannot fail if you do not give up, number one. Number two, kadang-kadang when you do all of these amazing things, weightlifting, aerobik dan sebagainya, because of quality senaman yang bagus, you tend to menambah otot sikit. And otot is beban yang agak mampat and ada weight. So kadang-kala when you do weight training and senaman yang baru, otot naik, and then you makan makanan yang bagus, katakanlah lemak tu air berkurangan, but kadang-kadang dia tak ada weight loss because you have some muscle gain and some water fat loss, and it will cancel each other out. So jangan hanya menilai angka berat badan, also menilai body composition, rupa paras, cermin, dan sebagainya. And if that is not the reason, then my advice is look at your pemakanan. Because weightlifting, aerobic, brisk walking is all soal senaman. But you have to make sure your pemakanan is selari dengan keperluan or objektif Norita untuk kurangkan berat badan. And if the makanan is not good, quote unquote, mungkin berlebihan, the senaman itself is not going to be able to solve that. So my advice is look at the pemakanan number one and continue along the journey. Because I also don't know berapa lama you have been doing this. Over time, things will come. And if they do not, take a step back and menilai keadaan and see di mana culpritnya. Stress, kehidupan is also a big contributing factor. Stress meningkatkan simpanan lemak badan. Stres boleh menggelorkan hormon badan. Stres boleh menjatuhkan metabolisme dan sebagainya. So, mempertimbangkan everything in your life as much as possible. Pemakanan, stress, and senaman, and otot naik dan sebagainya along your journey. And if tak kurang-kurang juga berat tu, you message me and we'll try and figure it out together. Yeah, thank you so much, Nazrio, long lost friend, for joining us today. Yeah, hi Roba from YouTube as well. Yeah, Beres Edrina, yeah, you are welcome and wishing you all the best with your goal. Yeah, if you just join us, we're having a very simple Q&A Santai session. Kalau anda punya sebarang pertanyaan tentang apa jua topik, let us know dalam ruangan komen and I will spend until around 9 o'clock untuk menjawab sebarang pertanyaan. This is all in conjunction with our campaign bersama KBS sempena dengan Hari Sukan Negara, or for me it's more Bulan Sukan Negara, which will end in October. Tinggal lagi seminggu sahaja lagi. All right, let's go next question. Question from Dana Zaid. Coach, saya nak tanya, kenapa saya selalu cramp perut sebelah kanan apabila exercise, terutamanya upper body? Now, what I am assuming is that you have this side stitch dekat tepi, which happens when you berlari dan sebagainya. It's agak annoying because you tak penat pun, but tak boleh nak teruskan because you have the side stitch. And how to mengatasinya, posture badan. And why you feel this pain is because your diaphragm tends to press down on your liver terutamanya, and it hurts. So what you need to do is tegakkan badan. And for ladies, this is really important because ladies suka menyembunyikan diri semasa bersenam, but this will not give much ruang for your organ and your diaphragm to move. So you have to learn to shoulders back, mendadakan diri, sopankan diri pada masa yang sama to allow your diaphragm to move without really hitting on your organs while you bersenam. Nombor 2, jangan minum air banyak sangat for the same reason. If you minum banyak sangat air, it will kembungkan your perut, and it again will push out the organs to the side, and again your organs have not much space while you do the senaman. So always only minum seteguk along the way to make sure that your organs have space semasa bersenam. Yeah, selamat mencuba, and I am really sure that will help you to solve this annoying side stitch on the side. All right, next. We have Acit. Bila dah berumur over 40, betul ke setiap senaman kena rehat 48 jam untuk next exercise like HIIT? Very, very good question. And I am 43. Yeah, don't let the filter mengelirukan anda. it's not just when you are 40 or 50 or 30 or 20. You should berehat when you need to. Now, it's not about hit semata-mata. It has to do with the muscles. So again, as we explained earlier, when you buat senaman yang melibatkan beban or rintangan, which can happen during high intensity interval training juga, the muscle fibers can tear sikit, which is diharapkan again, and it takes about 48 jam to help this muscle to repair and recover. Now, that does not mean you cannot bersenam for 48 jam, but ideally you can focus on different bahagian badan pada different days. Contohnya hari ini you buat upper body day, hit juga. Esoknya you buat lower body day, hit juga. On the third day, you can do a core workout, hit juga. And then on the fourth day, you go back to upper body supaya you always berikan waktu rehat yang secukupnya. Now, I go to a HIIT functional training gym where every day is functional training and I go dalam 4-5 kali seminggu. But if I feel that there's too much, katakanlah, lower body senaman on day to day, I will sendiri change it myself. You know, I'll tell the coach, okay, I will not do this, I will skip it, I will change it to mungkin senaman shoulder ke apa, supaya I juga dapat memberikan rehat to certain body parts to allow them to recover. Not always untuk pembesaran otot, but to allow the joints yang as you mentioned, as we get older, need more time to recover, peluang untuk recover. So always know your limits. Recovery di usia 20-an, 40-an is not the same. And those who are in your 20s, you will say, age is just a number. Let me tell you, age is a number. And walaupun hati you muda, your joints are 43 years old. Your muscles are 43 years old. Your bones are 43 years old. That you cannot ignore. And you have to be smart untuk melindunginya daripada kecederaan yang tidak berbaloi hanya kerana the coach say go, no pain, no gain, because they feel they have to motivate you. But I, as a peserta senaman juga, I always know my limits. I know when to say no. I know when to regress the senaman because tak berbaloi cedera hanya demi satu sesi senaman. Yeah, so Acik wishing you all the best. Yeah, waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much. You are welcome. Okay. From YouTube, Fauzi Syafi'i. Salam coach, waalaikumsalam. Saya baru 1 minggu mula diet. Betul ke cara saya hanya ambil 500 kalori sahaja? Now, Fauzi, thank you so much for the question. Saya takkan menasihati Fauzi untuk mengambil 500 kalori sehari walaupun ia diseru oleh orang lain yang menggalakkan diet tersebut. Can you kurangkan berat badan dengan 500 kalori berat badan? Yes. Malangnya, Fauzi tidak akan dapat kekalkannya untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. So in your case, yes, baru seminggu mungkin boleh, but I am sure pun dah derita lain macam menanti penghujung program diet 500 kalori itu. And that is the point. Kejayaan kawalan berat badan is not what you are doing dalam jangka masa yang pendek. Diet perlu sustainable untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. And I am yakin Encik Fauzi pun ingin makan pisang goreng, minum teh tarik, makan makanan yang biasa. And I guarantee you, you can makan mungkin 1,400, 1,500 kalori, still kurangkan berat badan, but ia akan mengambil masa and that is okay. Always remember, peningkatan berat badan kebarangkalian besar took 10, 15, 5 years. Lama. Ya, bertahun-tahun. Oh, mungkin sejak pandemik. Ya, mungkin 18 bulan. Biarlah proses pengurangan berat badan pun diberikan masa. Malangnya ramai orang nak cepat. kalau boleh nak kurus semalam, ya nak buat benda yang ekstrim. When you do benda yang ekstrim, it's hard to sustain and it becomes stressful, and that's when ramai orang akan cepat putus asa because it is not sesuai dengan hati jiwa and tidak dapat dikekalkan. So, can you makan 500 kalori sehari? Suka hati masing-masing. Boleh. Can you kekalkannya untuk jangka masa berpanjangan? No. So one day there will be a day when you stop this 500 calorie diet, mungkin dalam masa yang akan datang, and that's when you have to melakar plan pemakanan yang lebih practical, yang lebih realistic, yang mungkin mengambil kira 1,500 kalori plus or minus. And if Cik Fauzi kurang mahir untuk menyusun plan pemakanan, my advice is dapatkanlah rujukan nutritionist ke dietitian. Bayarlah dia RM80 ke RM100 untuk consultation. Bukan untuk ikut membuta what they say, untuk perah ilmu. Perah ilmu just like today, supaya Cik Fauzi dapat mengawal keadaan untuk the rest of your life. But in most cases, 500 kalori sehari tak lama kau. That is the honest truth and the reality based on my experience, but don't follow anything I say. All right, next. Yeah, you are welcome. Let me see what else we have here. Hello, hi, Maimuna. Na. Yeah, you are welcome, Siti Iza. Yeah, jom kurus post PKP. We don't call it, you know, Chem. Chem is, or Ashraf is known as Chem. He's also a fitness coach. Very successful in Cyberjaya, Putrajaya. It's now called Bukan Soal Kurus, no longer Jum Kurus, because Bukan Soal Kurus sounds more politically correct. And yes, inshallah, in January we have season 4 for Bukan Soal Kurus, and inshallah we will bring back Olympic. Olympic is our sukan-sukan community. And I'm meeting with KBS in Putrajaya on Thursday untuk finalize things untuk tahun depan, untuk menghidupkan pertandingan sukan antara community seluruh Malaysia. Bukan soal kurangkan berat badan, but soal membudayakan sukan. And highly welcome Cham, my brother, to be part of the team, inshallah. Yeah, let me know. What's that? Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Norfad Linda. Salam coach. Waalaikumsalam. Alhamdulillah. My weight is in control so far. Cuma yang tak best, muka nampak makin cengkung. How can I improve? That is bersyukur dengan apa yang ada. The way our body menyimpan lemak is sesuka hati dia. That's why you ada bentuk buah badan yang pelbagai. Some people store more fat in the lower body, upper body, muka, lengan, sayap, kelawar dan sebagainya. So you have to bersyukur dengan apa yang ada. Even our program before, we had one peserta, Adli from Ipoh, yang berjaya mengurangkan 40 kilo berat badan. And after he lost the weight, his face was so cengkung sampai orang cakap, kau sakit ke? What's wrong with you? Dan sebagainya. Because again, agak terkejut dengan dulunya muka A and then tiba-tiba muka yang sangat cengkung. But trust me, he's much healthier, much stronger, much happier dengan keadaan yang sekarang. And it's hard, again, mungkin to look in the mirror and nampak muka yang cengkung lain macam, but look at the bigger picture. Kesihatan yang ada, kawalan berat badan, manfaat yang Fatlinda ada, and there is nothing really that you can do untuk kebalkan muka semula, melainkan you naikkan berat tu balik, which of course tidak dikehendaki. Okay. Time check, we have maybe another 5, 6, 7 minutes or so. Apologizing if I can't answer all the questions, but I think we only have like 3 or 4 questions left. 1 second. Okay, Nur Amira. Hi Coach, hi. Sekarang saya dalam fasa maintain. Rutin workout saya 3 hari weight training, 1 day cardio. Dalam masa yang sama, boleh tak saya makan dalam maintain kalori sikit surplus? Now, if you have surplus, that means you makan lebih daripada yang diguna, and there would be kemungkinan that you menambah berat badan. But if let's say 5 hari seminggu you kawal makanan dengan bagus, and then 2 hari seminggu you nak lepas tangan sikit and makan surplus, then that is okay. But yang paling penting over a period of time, jumlah pengambilan tu is selari and sesuai dengan keperluan, which I'm sure you know. So untuk kurang berat badan, isi minyak kurang daripada yang dibakar. Untuk menambah berat badan, isi minyak makanan lebih daripada penggunaan. And untuk kekalkan berat badan, kena isi minyak makanan agak sama dengan keperluan diri. Yeah? All the best to you, and congrats on berjaya mengurangkan berat badan, and wishing you all the best as well dengan maintain berat badan. Yes, Michaela? What would you like? My daughter is signaling. What would you like? You want to say hi? Okay. Hi. Cepat.
I couldn't join today because I'm having a sleepover with my friend.
Yeah, go. They cannot see you.
Come here.
This is Tarini and Michaela. She's having a sleepover with her neighbor.
My friend is leaving on Wednesday.
Yes, her friend is leaving to Singapore on Wednesday. We're gonna miss you, Tarini. Say hi to Malaysia. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Goodbye. Next time.
I sent this to my mom.
Yes.
Yes.
It's on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye, Mama.
Okay, I'll do probably 1 or 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Let's go with Shakir Abu Aish from Singapore. Yeah, Assalamualaikum salam. I'm gonna ask you 3 times per week, full body workout by using dumbbell enough to build muscles? Yes, as long as the muscles are appropriate for your strength and you know how to progress. So even I at home, I have 3 sets of dumbbells, one that's quite light, one that is moderately heavy, and one that is quite heavy, because bigger muscles probably are stronger compared to smaller muscles. So if I do, let's say, a shoulder raise at the front, the muscle is much more smaller, opposed to me doing a chest press on a bench. So you got to have appropriate muscles and appropriate dumbbells at home that will give you the catalyst yang berpatutan to help you then create that koyakkan microscopic along the fibers, and that you agak-agak feel sore the next day. If the dumbbells are too light, you will not get the quality that you mengharapkan. All right, guys. Yeah, they said, hi, kids. Yeah, it's always agak huru-hara when you do lives at home, and just like live webinars, live sessions, live workouts are not perfect. So enjoy the ketidaksempurnaan kehidupan, enjoy the ketidakkesempurnaan pemakanan, senaman, dan sebagainya. Don't stress. It's not about perfection. It's really about enjoying the process, learning along the way, and jangan putus asa. And as long as you do not give up, you cannot fail, as I always say. Okay, last question from Guy on YouTube. Coach, how to stay handsome and awet muda like Coach? I do not know. I think for me, honestly, if you ask me, happiness is the key to youth. And if you are generally happy, and nobody is 100% happy, happiness creates less stress to the body. And you always kena bayangkan stress as something that always pulls on you, and happiness is complex. Happiness includes spiritual happiness, physical happiness, emotional happiness, dan sebagainya. So all aspek kehidupan memainkan peranan. My pursuit of life is happiness, and I always feel that that helps me to not like remain young. Still, you still grow older, but I do things that help me to be happy, including kesehatan diri dalam keseimbangan masing-masing. And the handsome too, honestly, tak ke mana pun. That one boleh tolak ke tepi. But yang paling penting is that you are happy and enjoy the kegilaan kehidupan masing-masing. And know the things that make you happy and don't make you happy. Try to jauhkan diri from things that do not make you happy and mendekati dirilah dengan perkara that menggembirakan dan membina secara umumnya. Yeah. So with that, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. And thank you so much for KBS for sponsoring our month-long KBS Fit and Active sempena dengan Bulan Sukan Negara. If you have not done so yet, please help me to share the live session dengan kawan-kawan yang ada. I'll be back again minggu depan untuk sesi perbincangan bersama. And I hope that today was useful, meaningful, and it helps you along your journey of kesehatan, kecergasan, dan kegembiraan in your own life. Yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your Monday. Assalamualaikum and